Welcome. You are seeing the replay of our weekly live session on the free Insight Timer app, and you're always welcome to join us there. It is a free app and a beautiful way for us to be together as community. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We'll wait a few moments. There you all are. Oh, is that Linda? Hi, Angela. Oh, so grateful to be together. Hi, Camille. Oh my goodness. So Linda has this great picture of the pyramids, and we're going to be there together next week. Oh, Chico, my love. I'm so glad you're here, darling. May your heart just be enveloped by all of this love here. I love you so much. Hi, Natasha. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Rich. Hi, David. Long time no see. Hi, Anami. Oh, I've missed you, my sweetheart. Grateful to be together. Hi, John. Oh, I'm so grateful to be together. Hi, Sandy. Aloha. Good morning. Hi, Suleiman. Oh, lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you all for being here. Hi, Catherine. Welcome. Yes, warm welcome to Catherine and anyone else who is new to our time together. Thank you, Annie. Hi, Alberto. Hi, Rebecca. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Mm, welcome. How's our sound? How is our connection today? Hi, Cecile. Welcome. Hi, Shana. Welcome. Okay, great. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. So, for anyone I'm getting to meet today for the first time, my name is Selena. We have these live sessions generally weekly here on the app at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. This is our new time on Wednesdays. However, this will be our last session for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe just 2 weeks, as I am traveling to Egypt with my beloved teacher and soul family. We're all soul family. And will not be here. So I'm grateful we get this time together before I'm off and taking you all with me in my heart. Hi, Molly. So I have a lot of content here on the app. I have 2 courses. One is an introductory course to living with self love. And even if you think of yourself as someone who practices self love regularly, there are some really compassionate, loving tools to help deepen and continue to cultivate an experience of greater inner peace that comes when we live with more self love. So it's really a course for everyone, whether you feel new to the idea or very seasoned. And then we have these live sessions. I also lead retreats, and you can find all of this on my profile page under the events section, as well as under all of the tracks and courses. Hmm. My next retreat in Hawaii is pretty much sold out. The retreat that we're having in Bali next May 2026 still has some spaces. So if you feel called to be together in person, this is an exquisite opportunity to dive deeper into the self, into stillness, into love and compassion with like minded community at a luxury boutique hotel. So it's going to be an exquisite time. We had a retreat there this May, and so looking forward to being there together again. Hi, JG. Welcome. Let's take a breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale deeply. Exhale through the mouth. Today, I feel inspired or moved for us to dive into the topic, the experience of forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is freedom. And to take us into this experience, I'm going to read from my beloved teacher's, I think this is technically Ma's first book. I don't know if you can really tell, but I've had this book for, I don't know, probably 20 years. It's very faded and very well loved. It's called Petals of Grace by Her Holiness Saima. And this book it has definitely guided me profoundly in my life, given me great solace in moments of suffering, opened my mind to perspectives that I wasn't able to see before, and just continued to help me nourish and cultivate my relationship with my own beloved self. Because so much of my life experience and many of our life experiences uh, is really focused on the outside, what we think we're supposed to be doing or achieving, the things we're supposed to have, and looking to others to feel a certain way, looking to others to feel loved, to feel approved of, to feel good enough, to feel worthy. And this seeking outside of us, we could consider as one of the greatest sources of suffering. Spiritual masters, including Saima, I've heard say that anything that changes we know is unreal in this life, meaning everything is temporary in this world of duality. And the only thing that is not temporary is the self, the eternal self, source, consciousness. Everything else is changing. It's being born, it's dying, it's beginning, it's ending, it's changing shapes, it's evolving, it's devolving. All of these things are comings and goings of this temporal world. Whereas the self, the light we are, is infinite, it is eternal. So let's read a little from Ma's book. But before we do that, let's move into the centering technique. This is an ancient yogic technique that helps to bring us into an experience of greater inner alignment. Hi, Jacqueline. Hi, Tracy. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Palms touch at the heart. If you can't move your body, you can always visualize this. Let's sit tall. Drop the shoulders back and down. Take a deep breath in. Long, slow exhalation. Yes. And now we'll inhale, Reach the right hand all the way up through the midline. The left hand comes down by the navel, but all the fingers point up. And then exhale slowly, slowly to come back to the heart. Really take your time here. This is a fantastic technique to also regulate the nervous system. Inhale, reach the left hand all the way up. Right hand comes down by the navel, but all of the fingers point up toward the sky. Exhale slowly. One more time with the right hand reaching up. Inhale, left hand comes down by the navel. Maybe straighten the upper arm. Exhale really slowly to come back to center. And then we pause here after these 3 rounds. You're always welcome to do more if you wish. Feel the contact between the hands. Maybe your thumbs rest against your beating heart. Soften the shoulders. Allow a space between the teeth. Soften the small muscles in the forehead, around the eyes and the mouth. And then let's lovingly hold the body. Place one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Breathe deeply. Maybe you feel the body softening underneath your loving touch. And then maybe you wish to say, whatever I'm feeling is okay. Whatever's happening inside of me is okay. I accept myself just as I am. I love myself just as I am. There is nothing wrong with me. I'm having a messy, beautiful human experience just like everyone else. And it's okay to be just as I am. It's okay. It's okay. Let's take a deep breath together in and out. Lovely. Thank you, Orti. So you're welcome to have the eyes open or closed as I read. If you're multitasking, you may wish to pause and be still to really absorb the Shakti, the energy in these words. There's so much more than something just for the intellect to receive. There is an energy in these words, and we can take that in and allow it to open the heart, open the mind. And yes, again, the book is called Petals of Grace. Petals of Grace. Forgiveness brings freedom. When the mind forgives, the heart forgives. Forgiveness is of great importance in sadhana. Sadhana means our daily spiritual practice. As you probably know, joy is a key, but forgiveness is also a key. Forgiveness is a doorway to freedom, and this freedom serves to move you into higher consciousness. So many times I think of what Jesus went through, how he was treated, and how he forgave. Such freedom, such release of judgment. Forgiveness is to be at the center of your sadhana, the center of your life. Tremendous power is in the act of forgiveness. The moment the mind chooses to forgive in that place where resentment is felt, the heart forgives. Then more love penetrates the heart chakra and more light penetrates the heart chakra. The higher self is always ready to pour more grace into your life and free the personality. Because life is to be a life of mercy, compassion, naturalness, and forgiveness. Thus, whenever you cannot forgive, you are to question yourself. It is important to choose in which state you wish to live. For example, if you say, I wish peace on the planet, then how can you live without forgiving? To move into that state of the peaceful mind, your ego is to be transformed into love and light. Resentment is connected to dense forces that will influence your subtle bodies. These are our energetic bodies. Many of us think of it as our aura, but they're actual subtle components of our being, these energetic bodies. Resentment is connected to dense forces that will influence the subtle bodies, particularly the emotional body and the mental body. These are the main bodies to be purified, to carry more light, to carry more peace on this plane, and to move you into higher frequencies. Of course, your ego is connected to these two bodies and also to the physical or the gross body. Gross meaning the most dense form that we carry. For such a long time, your ego has been fed by lower emotions. And in this context, we're speaking of the ego in terms of the identity, this construct that allows the infinite consciousness we are to have an experience in this human form. And although this ego allows us to experience the light we are in form, it is also rooted in the illusion of separation. So the ego is always in the state of duality: good, bad, right, wrong, me, I'm. This is all ego consciousness. And it's not speaking about egotistical necessarily. It's speaking about this small I and the illusion of separateness that each of us carry in this human experience that makes us think we are separate from each other when, in essence, we could consider we are actually all one, having an experience of individuality. For such a long time, your ego has been fed by lower emotions. Then suddenly, because you are on the moksha or liberation path and moving toward enlightenment, you are saying to the higher self, please take over so the outer personality and the ego don't keep directing everything. The ego doesn't like this because in this situation, the ego sees its end. So the ego moves into a revolution, the state of mind where it usually takes on all of the lower emotions and denser frequencies of pain, resentment, anger, frustration, envy, jealousy. So it is your duty to activate the attributes of God, source, oneness, purity, and obedience so that the higher self can come forth. At the beginning of the process, this is a fight, and you may even have doubts. Naturally, doubt will arise as the ego wishes to win. But you must be strong and persevere so that the power of light you carry, this great divine power, will be realized. Love is power. Do not doubt this. Even if doubt comes, accept it. But know as a master, you are a master. You are not to doubt the higher powers. The angels and devas are always ready to assist. Remember, because of free will, ascended masters, gurus, and angels will not touch your energy, will not interfere with your life unless you ask for their help. It is time for you to take command of your life and be responsible for your actions. Do not allow the ego to manipulate you any longer. Because you have been weak for such a very long time, the samskaras, or the past experiences stored in the mind, stored in the chakras, will tend to remain in lower frequencies. But be courageous. Courage is necessary, so do not give up. Do not give up. So let's just pause there for a moment, just a moment. You can close the eyes if they're open. Let's just breathe in the Shakti, breathe in the energy of these words. Maybe you only remembered two words I just read. Maybe only one word makes sense. There's no need to have intellectual understanding. Just notice what you're feeling inside. I'll read a little more. If you wish to be free from pain, use discernment. Again, move to your heart. Do not give power to your ego anymore. Allow the self, the higher self, to express itself, to be of service to you. All this old karma was planted long ago, and now the trees and the fruits of that karma are appearing. Start now to sow different seeds, and you will no longer feel guilt or shame. Thus, anger will not have the power to continue to grow. Of course, forgiving yourself is a must, and asking for forgiveness brings humility. Start to control, to master your emotions and your lower frequencies. Be aware, observe yourself, and start diving into the path. Observe your thought patterns, change, shift. You have the capacity, and by choosing righteousness, you will naturally move into higher frequencies. These higher frequencies will bring much more joy to your life. Keep forgiving. Train your mind to shift. Know that your mind is a very powerful tool, and it's also an empty space. So, whatever you put in it will be powerful because it's a powerful space. The mind doesn't know if what is put into it is negative or positive because there is no discernment in the mind. There is no discernment in the mind. It's like an empty space, and it's very powerful. So, whatever you put there will grow and grow very strongly. Therefore, being positive is very important. And the more you are positive, the more you will be positive because the same energy you put into your mind will go through your whole body via the blood. In this way, you can say the mind is all over the body, just as your mental body is around you. This means that if you choose now to plant a seed of positivity, it will begin to grow. And when your higher self sees what you are doing, it will support you. I'll read the last paragraph. I skipped ahead a page. This has actually been part of my like my email signature for like 15 years. Part of it. Often when you forgive, you think you are right with the self. Well, you do not have to win or lose. No right, no wrong. Just be completely transparent and forgive for the sake of forgiveness. Love for the sake of love. I invite you just to close your eyes and breathe this in. Forgive for the sake of forgiveness. Love for the sake of love. When we hold on to unforgiveness, what are we holding on to? I'm right. You owe me something. It shouldn't have been this way. It should have been this way. You're bad. I'm good. I don't know what to do with this pain. I want you to suffer the way I have suffered. And yet we all know, whether you've heard this saying or not, holding on to unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other to die. We suffer so deeply. And then we live with this discord in our lives. I come back to the beginning of the chapter where Ma spoke of peace. If you want, if you say that you want a peaceful world, then how can you continue to live with unforgiveness? Think about that for a moment. I invite you to think about that for a moment. So many of us here, and maybe even every single one of us on this call today, or if you're watching the replay, we might say, yes, I wish peace on this planet. Of course, I wish peace on this planet. That peace must begin with us. If I'm living with unforgiveness in my heart, then I'm walking through the world carrying the energy of resentment, carrying the energy of revenge, carrying the energy of pain and wishing others to be in pain. And that's what I'm putting into the world. How can we have a planet of peace if this is what I'm contributing? And some of us feel really uncomfortable, one, on the topic of forgiveness, and two, when we think about it like this, it rubs us the wrong way. It triggers something inside of us. We hold on to the unforgiveness with a sense of righteousness. Why? Why do we hold on to unforgiveness with a sense of righteousness? Because it's a protector. It somehow protected us. Maybe it shielded us from feeling the depths of the pain we feel, how deeply hurt we feel by someone or something. Maybe it's trying to protect us from feeling hurt again. I'd love to hear from you. What what's coming to your awareness? What's opening in your mind and your heart as you hear Saima's words, as we are in this inquiry and self-reflection around forgiveness? And of course, if you're not here with us on Insight Timer, we can't see your comments. So please always welcome to join us here on the Insight Timer app so that we can see your comments. What are you aware of? Megan shares, enlightening. I'm so thankful to have heard those words. Wonderful. Beautiful. I'm so thankful you're here. Annie shares, also true and important. Holding on to resentment is holding on to pain of the past. Yes. Camellia shares, I can let go. So many of life's stories of fighting back. Yeah. Bella shares, can you forgive companies and corporations? What do you think, Bella? If When I think of a story I can share, I'll share my kind of my go-to personal story, and then I'll come back to your question. So many of you have heard me share this story. There was a time a long time ago where I was living in this yogi house with several people, and my on and off again partner lived in the house as well. We were in separate rooms. And long story short, and he and I were still doing the dance of together, not together, together, not together. And one day I was standing in the kitchen, and one of our housemates came in, and I'm feeling a little vulnerable sharing this story today. Um, and she essentially said, I've been sleeping with this person who clearly I was involved with. And I knew, it was one of those things where I knew it and it was kind of denied. And it was one of those really messy, wonderfully toxic situations. And I, my whole nervous system flooded, and I went into my room and I just was sobbing, just like it just cracked open. It was so painful to hear this information, to know that that was happening. And I remember I sat down at my puja, at my meditation space. And this was at a time uh, where I actually could just call Saima. And I called Ma, and Ma was in silence, as Ma often takes each day. And so I just heard like a on the other end of the phone. And and I was just crying, and I said, Ma, I said, thank you. I said, thank you for this opportunity to learn forgiveness. That's all I said. I didn't explain what was going on or say how horrible it was. I said, thank you for this opportunity to forgive, to learn forgiveness. And it took a while. It took a while to really get clear and complete on that one, but I did. So, why do I share that story? Because for many of us, that seems like a really horrible thing to go through. And when you find out that the person you're in love with and have an intimate relationship with that's supposed to be exclusive is sleeping with somebody else and they've been lying to your face about it for months, most of us would consider that a pretty atrocious thing to go through. And yet, one of my very first thoughts was, I understand this is an opportunity for me to learn forgiveness. The second thing that comes to mind right now is these deeply moving stories about people who forgive someone who murdered their child. And we're just going deep. I know this is triggering content, so of course, please take care of yourself. If you need to go off the call or just put your hand on your heart, take some deep breaths. I've read so many exquisite stories, though. Not so many, that makes it sound like they're countless. But I've definitely read many stories about these beautiful souls who forgive the one that took the life of someone they love. And sometimes it's even to the point where they don't only forgive that person, but they've even like welcomed that person into their family. I've read a couple of accounts like this. So, in a sense, it all comes back to, I'm coming back to, it was Bella. Yeah, Bella. In a sense, it all comes back to understanding what is forgiveness doing, unforgiveness, resentment, hatred. What is it doing to my insides? What is it doing to my relationship with myself? And when I live with hatred and resentment and unforgiveness, what kind of a person am I being in the world? I was with a beloved earlier today in a one on one session, and uh, this came up and to a degree, just the understanding that, when we close our heart, we close our heart. Many of us think, well, if I close my heart to this person, I open my heart to this person. And although there are some surface experiences of that, but we could consider that when we close the heart, we close the heart. So if I'm living in hatred for one, that is what I'm living with in the world. It's not compartmentalized because I'm a whole being. So let's kind of come back. I know a lot of comments have come through. And as always, there's no right or wrong answer here. I'm never here to say that there's one thing to believe or one thing to one way to think about life. Everyone is welcome to be here with their own beliefs and perspectives on life. Hi, Antonia. Antonio shares, it's that simple and complex truth that one must be the change one wants to see in the world. Absolutely. And it doesn't mean that it's always graceful. There are still many people on this planet doing unspeakable things. For me, that means that it just encourages me to continue to be even more of the best version of myself and more of a light, more of service, more of a presence of kindness and love. Okay, coming back. Mm. Hi, Lori. Yeah, Lori shared allowing my partner to not be perfect. Yeah, yeah. Anami shares what's sticking with me most at present is being mindful of the energy we're carrying and emitting in the midst of so much happening. I'd have it. Oh, sorry, my love, your comment disappeared and I lost my place. In the midst of so much happening, I'd have it somewhere in the back of my mind, an awareness of my energy being less favorable though simultaneously bogged down by so much stress, by so much having to handle so much that instead of spaciousness within to not only be aware of my energy, but also touch the peace available. There's been space between self and self. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, my love. And of course, sometimes when we get on these topics, we can view it through some kind of an idealistic lens, like we're just supposed to be love and light and peace and happy. And of course, any of you who have been here with me for some time or heard my content, you know that for me, uh, being able to be fully present with the pain is where the transformation comes from. Otherwise, many of us end up spiritually bypassing, where rather than fully embracing what is and allowing it to move through us, it's like we're cutting parts of ourselves off. And this can cause a lot of um, discord and misalignment inside of us. So it's not about like, oh, just forgive and be happy. It's how can I go be with these parts of myself that are holding on to this pain? How can I tend to this inside of myself so that maybe I can free myself? Yeah, I'm coming back to more comments. Hi, Shiva. Shiva shares, I want to forgive my brother who raped me a couple of times when I was a child. Oh, Shiva. Thank you for letting us be with you in that experience. And I understand. And it's your choice. It's your choice whether or not you want to, whether or not you do. And there's no right or wrong way. There's no right or wrong way. Thank you for sharing that. And of course, if you want us to sit with you more there, um, here for that. Just wish to acknowledge you, acknowledge that experience. Anne is saying, oh, your comment disappeared. What is denial doing to you? Yeah, and I don't know if you're asking that of me specifically or someone else. Oh, yeah, look at all this love coming through for you, Shiva. Beautiful. So much love. Mhm. Angus shares, I went through some hurt as well. I was 7 months pregnant with my baby girl, and the father got married on me. Oh, Angus, my love. Yeah. Angus shares it was the most hurtful thing ever, but I forgave myself first, then forgave him and everything around it. We are the best of friends now. Wow, Angus. Now I know you and I know you're a really exquisite being. Like your heart is one of those hearts that just like makes miracles happen. So thank you for being a an inspiration for all of us, an embodiment of that love. That's beautiful. Oh, 24. Happy birthday, baby. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, Annie, hold on, there are different, oh, yeah. Yeah, Annie is speaking to internal family systems. Yeah, so many of you know I work with a lot of really being with these different parts of us, and Annie is saying that working with these different parts of us is a really powerful way to create integration rather than bypassing what's really happening for this superficial experience of forgiveness. Um, Many of us have this experience, especially because of religious context. We have this idea that we're supposed to forgive, or maybe even just in a context like this, right? We're talking about how forgiveness brings freedom and not forgiving is like poison, right? So there's this idea, I've got to forgive, right? I really need to forgive. So we come to this kind of intellectual idea of forgiveness, but there's still part of us that's holding this pain. So to be able to really go and find the parts of us that feel hurt, that we abandon in the process of feeling hurt by another, and doing this work of being able to be with ourselves so that we feel loved, we feel seen, we feel heard, and we're not being forced to be forgiving because it's the right or positive thing to do, but that we feel so held in love that part of us can feel safe again. Because, of course, that's where so much of this pain comes from, not feeling safe. Thanks for sharing that, Annie. Um, yeah, denial is absolutely draining and it can show up in many ways. Oh, hi, Annie. That's so sweet. Oh, that's beautiful. So nice to be here together. Ah, yes, Jacqueline shares hurt people often hurt people. Absolutely. There's that pain. There's that beautiful teaching. Well, I heard it first through Ma, well, I don't know first, but this teaching, Ma would say, So people only hurt each other out of ignorance, only out of ignorance. It's just not being aware. Because if, and the way that I receive that teaching is if we realized how connected we are, if we realize that we are one, that we are connected, then we would never hurt each other. Never. We couldn't. It's the ignorance of separation. And then, of course, I hear Lauren Hill singing it, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Again, this comes back to the ignorance. Thank you, beloveds, for your donations. Beautiful. I'm grateful for your generosity. Yeah, Angus shares, thank you all. It's made me a better person today. Camille shares, I strive to be the embodiment of Father, Jesus, and Mother Mary, and Maz, and understanding life's pains and joys. I try just practice this daily. Forgive for the sake of forgiveness myself. Yeah, my love. Beautiful. Yeah, Maria, you're asking a very, very, very potent, pertinent question. And this is deep because it spans lifetimes. Maria shares, how can we forgive the Jews for killing Palestinian women and children? We're actually ending early today, so I'm taking a moment to just be mindful because this is a very charged topic, and we probably have people even here in this session that may have different perspectives. And it is my intention to always respect and honor each other fully. So, because we just have a couple of minutes left, the reason we have a couple minutes left is because many of you know Tracy McCree, who is a beautiful soul and teacher. We're all beautiful souls. And here on the app, and Tracy and I are about to have a live chat on IG. So you're always welcome to come join us there. And Insight Timer always offers wonderful, uplifting content there if you're not already checking them out on Instagram. So would love to share that with you, share Tracy with you. So, Maria, I invite, first of all, let's just all take a breath. This could turn into a very big conversation, and we just have a couple of minutes. So, as always, for each of us, I invite us to take what resonates, leave the rest, and whatever this brings up, we can sit with it with food for thought. The first thing that is very important for me when it comes to anything of this nature, because of course, this is happening right now, very real time. And it's also happening in other parts of the planet as well. This is not this horrendous act of murder and genocide and taking life is happening in other ways in other places. And I don't say that to negate what we're talking about. I'm saying that whenever we group people together, all as one, we have already limited our ability to return to love. And again, this is multifaceted and nuanced, and I'm not getting into the politics of it at all here. What I'm saying here is that for me to return to love, I need to be clear that not all Jews are killing Palestinians. I need to have the emotional maturity in myself, and I'm not speaking for you, I'm saying for me, to make the distinction that not every Jewish person falls into this category of being this way. Because the moment that I clump people together, I immediately take away the possibility for humanity. I immediately hold on to this hatred, this pain, this revenge, which keeps me trapped in suffering. I think And I'm just going to make this broad rather than keeping it specific to your question because it extends out. And again, this is such a profound, deep topic that can't be covered in just a couple of minutes. But I just will spend a couple more minutes here. Many of you are familiar with metta practices, these love based practices or meditations that allow us to return to the heart. Sometimes the first step for us as human beings is to be able to feel the pain, not to bypass it, not to make it look pretty or to slap some meditative quote on it, spiritualizing it, but to be able to sit with the atrocity, to sit with our own feelings of hatred, of anger, of terror, whatever might be there, for us to acknowledge that and not abandon ourselves or to get into a drama loop, which will often happen when we start replaying pain and suffering in our mind or watch it again and again. So maybe the first step for many of us is to acknowledge the pain without trying to be positive, without trying to be nice, without trying to make it some pretty thing. And then after we're able to sit with that part of ourselves, maybe, just maybe, we can find our way to practices of compassion. Because for me, that is always my access point. It could be very easy to move into an energy of resentment and hatred toward the people that do such horrible things on this planet. And my God, it makes me suffer if I go there. Fortunately, I've trained myself pretty well so that I don't get stuck there. But on occasion, something comes up and I just feel it. And then I have to let it move through. Compassion for me is the tool. Because without compassion, all there is hatred and pain and suffering. And I'm not saying this is a right way. I'm not. And I'm not saying anyone else should be compassionate. I'm simply answering from my own personal experience. There are many beautiful compassion techniques. Some of them, one of my favorites, is to bring someone to mind who you feel very different from and see that person across from you and recognize that they have a body that hurts sometimes just like yours. And they feel painful emotions sometimes just like you do. And they have had broken dreams and felt terror and felt rejected just like you. And then I go further back. I imagine them younger and younger and younger. And the times in their life that they went through feeling terror or rejection or deep disappointment or feeling heartbroken or feeling not good enough. I see their humanity. And I go all the way back to when they're a child, knowing that they were born enlightened just like each of us. And that something in their life shaped them. Maybe many things, not maybe, many things shaped them. So there's no right answer. There's no right answer. I guess the answer is, what am I wishing to create? How am I using the power of my mind? How am I spending my money? What am I supporting? How am I creating community and peace and healing in my environment? How am I tending to my own heart and the pain that I carry? And is what I'm doing of service to me? And there's sometimes no right answer there. Many of us get caught in this idea that the highest service is always something that looks really positive and pretty, but sometimes going into the shadow is what's of the highest service. So I thank you, Maria. I thank you all. And and uh, forgive me, my love. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Is it Haris? Haris says, unfortunately, no one on this planet, including you, is innocent of genocide. Understand what is being done in your name right now under our current administration. Clean up your own house before you look to clean up your neighbors. Yeah, yeah. We're all part of what's happening, especially when we're speaking about the United States here. We're part of this. So I thank you all. I'm grateful, grateful for you, grateful for these spaces where we can create community, understanding, listening, love, vulnerability. Thank you. Thank you. I wish you all the best until we're together again in a couple of weeks. Thanks, Tracy. That's a good point. Yeah, I do have a lot of content that actually covers many of these topics. I have at least a couple of forgiveness meditations. I have meditations on compassion, um, and being able to heal the heart. So there's so much content here, and of course, there are so many teachers with amazing content. Tracy as well. And one quick thing before we complete. Uh, both of my incredible parents are teachers here on the app. Um, they have so much wisdom and so much love, and they're both so wonderful in their own quirky ways. I'm kind of a mix between the two of them. My mom offers her live sessions on Thursdays. Her name is Sandy Magrum. And my dad offers his live sessions on Fridays. His name is Jonas Magrum. I just put both of their names in the chat. They both offer live sessions, very different, both wonderful. And they have a lot of love and grace to share. So this is all for now. Thank you for sitting with me and with each other in this intense topic today. May it serve us well to remember the return to love that is always available to us. Always. I love you. I love you so. Thank you.